Hi, everybody. This is Ken Wilson. Once upon a time, I broadcast blues hockey. I always listen to Let's Go Blues Radio. It's everything you'll want as a blues fan. Oh, baby.
Are you a first responder, a veteran, a doctor, a nurse, a teacher, or a Let's Go Blues Radio listener? Of course you are. If you're in the market to buy or sell a home, call real estate superstar Mike Burgoyne today at 314-753-4060 or email him at mike@strikewithmike.com to earn special rates today.
Cut out the coffee, cut out those energy drinks that make you crash, and put yourself in a position to succeed with an energy boost from RockinThatIDLife.com. You'll be energized, focused, and you'll even experience an elevated mood for up to 6 hours. Check out RockinThatIDLife.com to learn more.
Get ready to hear some noise tonight. You're just seconds away from Let's Go Blues Radio.
Great goaltending. The twister. Jacob hits the hit. Sellout crowd. Oh, baby.
Let's show this prehistoric bitch how we do things downtown.
Welcome to episode 7 of season 14. This is episode number 488 all time of the often imitated, never duplicated To Alcohol, the cause of and solution to all of life's problems. We're the original St. Louis Blues Hockey Podcast. Let's Go Blues Radio. To interact with the show on social media, our handle on all the socials is at LGB Radio. I'm Kurt Price, my co-host for The Big Shoe. Tonight is Bill Day. Jeff Ponder is currently mulling over an offer to serve in Trump's cabinet next year. I believe he's been offered the position of UN ambassador, which I'm not sure he's qualified for, but we'll see how that pans out.
As Peter Dinklage cosplay, he's going to be ambassador to whatever one of those Game of Thrones countries was.
The agenda for tonight includes discussion about the Blues are in another 3-game skid and losing in just about every conceivable way possible along the way. So we'll discuss that. And 101 ESPN Radio had some callers call in today talking a lot of Blues hockey. They had some interesting comments as radio callers are apt to do when things are not going well for a team. So I wrote some of those down, and we'll kind of discuss some of those later on. So all that more on this episode of Let's Go Blues Radio. Bill, how are you today?
I am back after a 2-week.
Welcome back.
Yeah, thank you.
Should play the Welcome Back Cotter theme song. It's
welcome.
Break that bad boy out of the.
Yeah, dust that thing off. Yeah, nope. Needed a couple week break for some mental resetting and that kind of stuff. So, so appreciate you guys giving me the space, but happy to be back here. And well, I wish we had better hockey to talk about.
Yeah, seriously though, Jeff is has a hockey game tonight, so he has chosen to play in that, and so,
I don't blame him.
We wish, right. We wish him luck, him and his team tonight. Go the Force, right? Same team, Force.
Go the Force.
Go the Force.
The Force.
It's how do you say go the Force? You go Force. Go
you
Force.
You say may the Force be with you.
May the Force be with you. Yeah.
Yes.
May the Force go. May the Force go.
Yeah.
Go Force.
And they're taking on Frostbite. So
is that real? Is that
maybe
true?
Yes. Maybe literally and figuratively.
Okay.
Nah, it's Kirkwood. It's still November. It's not that cold.
No, it's just rainy today. The official beers of episode number 488. You can follow each of us on the Untapped app. Bill's handle is Billy Blue Note 33. My handle is CPrice12, and Jeff's handle is JPonder94. Bill, what you got? What you got tonight?
So I'm still clearing out the old beers. I'm going to be doing that all season, and I got a good one this week.
Yeah.
Yeah. The oak-aged vanilla worldwide stout. I think this is from 2018, 2019, but it is still very good. Like,
so
it's not flat.
I was going to say, you finally have a good one out of the old beers that you've had in storage for a while.
What, five episodes I've been on, and the first good one. So
well, good. You were due.
Yeah, it's law of averages. So we'll see what next week brings.
Mine tonight is nothing that extravagant. It's the Shock Top Twister Pretzel, which, if you know me, you know I like pretzel beers quite a bit. So with O'Fallon Brewery going under, that took a pretty darn good pretzel beer off the market because they had that naughty pretzel beer, which was quite good. So I was sad about that. But Shock Top makes a good one. And I think Shock Top no longer owned by Anheuser-Busch.
One of their spin-offs of what they call the portfolio beers, right?
Yeah.
So
they no longer own it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they developed their own Shock Top like Blue Moon like beer. I forgot what they called it. Had it for the first time in a Cardinals game or the pregame party last year, and the bartender explained it to me. I was like, "Oh, I didn't realize that Shock Top had been acquired by another brewery." So usually it's InBev that's acquiring, and you don't hear about them selling off too many beers.
Right. I had heard that they were going to peel off some of the portfolio beers that they had collected. So I'll be interested. I wonder if Breckenridge is in that category, because before they bought Breckenridge, I used to love, like, my favorite autumn beer was their autumn ale, and once AB got it, it just quality went down. Had it last year and it was pretty good, so I wonder if they got their claws out of that one.
Before we get into the show, I just want to say real quick that we're kind of transitioning or adding to the social media portfolio for the show and for you and I, at least for now, Blue Sky. So we're on Blue Sky now. So look us up. You're Billy Blue Note 33, right?
Yep. Same handle as my Twitter, because don't call it X.
Right.
But it is my X.
Right. But I'm Ching. And I am at Kurt Price on Blue Sky. And the show is at LGB Radio. That is also on Blue Sky. So check us out over there. I am no longer going to be posting on Twitter. So, the show, I think, is still over on Twitter. I think Jeff might be doing some stuff with the show on Twitter. But I'm not sure if we're going to stay over there or not. But
yeah, Jeff said he's going to be doing more with Threads.
So. Right. And yeah, Jeff is on Threads. I don't know what his handle is. JPonder94, probably.
Yeah. Most wise people, that are doing, media things like podcasts and that, use the same handle between platforms.
Sure. You try to, so, right. If you can. Yep. It sucks when you can't. That sucks. That's rough. But no, Blue Sky's great. I mean, it's kind of how Twitter used to be. Before it got
muskified.
All the ads. Well, I mean, all the ads that pop up now, and there's so much just stuff that you think you have some things blocked you don't want to see, but you get flooded with stuff anyway. It's just kind of, I don't know. Maybe Blue Sky will be the same eventually once it gets overcrowded again, but like Twitter did. But who knows? Whatever. I like it right now, so it's right. Fun.
The numbers in the last 3 days, right? 1.5 million new users.
Yeah.
So we're part of a fad.
Right. Yeah. And what's great about Blue Sky is, as far as like Blues hockey Twitter goes, it's kind of in its infancy there. There's not, I mean, we're just kind of migrating over. So you see some familiar accounts over there, but not a lot. The Blues don't have an account over there yet, which I assume they will very soon. They should. Mm-hmm. That's kind of crazy they don't. But yeah, if you do a search for hockey, Let's Go Blues Radio comes up like one of the top 3, just hockey.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, that's cool. So anyway, so hopefully get some exposure over there and get some interaction with some old folks who are coming over, and some new folks who haven't seen or heard of us. So it should be fun. The road to the Discover the NHL Winter Classic returns December 4th. It's a series on TNT in the U.S., Sportsnet 1 in Canada. Chronicles preparations for outdoor game at, or SN1. Is it Sportsnet 1? SN1? Is that what that means?
Yeah, that's
yeah.
I assume that's what it's got to be, right?
Like ESPN 1 and 2 is Sportsnet 1 and 2, probably.
Yeah.
In Canada, Chronicles preparations for the outdoor game at Wrigley Field between the Blackhawks and the Blues. The first episode of this will appear on Wednesday, December 4th at 4 p.m. Central on TNT in the U.S. and on Thursday, December 5th at 6:30 p.m. Central on Sportsnet in Canada, Sportsnet 1 in Canada. All episodes will be available on demand, replay on Max in the U.S. True TV air dates and times will be announced in the coming weeks. Fans outside of North America will be able to watch these series and the December 31st outdoor game via international broadcast partners. So the Road to the Discovery NHL Winter Classic premiere dates and times. Episodes 1, 2, 3, and 4 are the December 4th, 11th, 18th, and 31st. 5 p.m., 5:30, 5 p.m., and then 2:30 for some reason.
Because it's New Year's Eve,
I guess that makes sense. I guess.
And let me just pause real quick and give you props for skipping over that little landmine that Jeff left it there for you.
Well, you see, the thing is that the thing is that I made my own copy of it, and so I wasn't even looking at it. So the joke's on him.
He was testing to see if you were going to Ron Burgundy and just read the prompter.
Well, the joke's on him. I have my own copy that's not shared with him, so he can't bastardize it up. And these are 30-minute episodes. So it's funny. There's a lot of frustration so far in the season with the Blues, and I think because I keep forgetting because of that, I keep forgetting we're playing in the Winter Classic. every time it's brought up, I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. We get that to look forward to on. It's on the 2nd again, right? Yeah. Whatever. I don't. We've talked about this before. I don't like the fact that they're not even trying to. I guess they want the casual fan. I get it, but not trying to compete with college football is just kind of disappointing.
Yeah. It's a business decision that you can understand, but just there's enough broadcasting out there that I don't think are you really going to take away from the people that are actually going to sit down and watch this game?
And how many people, I mean, a lot of people don't watch the games live anyway. They'll DVR it, they'll record it and watch it a little later or whatever. If someone wants to watch this game, they're going to watch it. They can record it. Everyone has a DVR now. Almost everyone, right? They're able to watch it. So I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't know. That's just me.
Gary doesn't think the way you think.
No, of course not. Okay, we are due for a break here. On the other side of this break, we're going to get into the last few Blues games a little bit. Unfortunately, you're listening to Kurt and Bill on Let's Go Blues Radio.
We'll return after these messages.
We've all tried a diet or workout fad at one time or another, but it always ends the same, right? We either lose the weight and then get back to our routine, but then put the weight right back on, or it just simply never takes hold. It's time to move into a habit-based program that focuses on organization and simplicity. Rock and That Idea Life's Lean 30 lays it all out for you with the correct food to eat, how to meal prep, and even sprinkles in plenty of healthy recipes. With Lean 30, you'll get the full ID Life arsenal, including energy for that needed kick, a tasty Nourish shake for your needed fiber intake, Slim Plus to help control your cravings and provide a metabolic boost, Lean capsules help bust those sugar cravings, and ID Nutrition gives you the added punch you need that takes the guesswork out of what supplements to take. Join the many who are seeing success and make this your last first day on a new program. Visit rockandthatidealife.com to get started, and remember to email Dustin at rockandthatidealife@gmail.com for an extra 10% off exclusively for Let's Go Blues Radio listeners. Start your transformation to the confident, vibrant person you've always wanted to be with rockandthatidealife.com.
St. Louis hockey fans know how it takes a reliable captain and a team of hard workers to achieve major goals. As a police officer and a hockey player, Realtor Mike Burgoyne would wear the C in any situation. As a leader in the home buying or selling process, Mike has surrounded himself with a team of trustworthy inspectors, lenders, and escrow officers that work together more cohesively than Hall & Oates. And as a member of many teams in his life, Mike knows the service our first responders, veterans, nurses, teachers, and yes, even you Let's Go Blues Radio listeners provide the community, so he offers special rates to those individuals. Find the value in Mike's leadership and teamwork today by emailing him at mike@strikewithmike.com or calling 314-753-4060. He'll work closely with you and only show you the homes that match your goals. That email again is mike@strikewithmike.com or call him at 314-753-4060 and succeed with your new teammate today.
And now, back to Let's Go Blues Radio, the longest running St. Louis Blues podcast with Price, Ponder, and Day.
You know, it's funny that Stag Beer bit. Commercial, like voiceovers and back in the day, they all had a similar vibe and sound, didn't they? Like, if you were to not look at that video and you were just hear it, you'd know that it was old. It doesn't have. There's something about old school advertising, especially the voiceovers and things that are just like so dated. Not in a bad way. I kind of love it. Actually, it sounds cool.
Yeah, there's something like commanding, right, in the voice. It's not goofy in any way. I mean, it's campy now. Like, in retrospect, it has a camp flavor to it, but at the time, it's like it's not goofy. It's just a man telling you what to do.
Just a man telling you what to do.
And I think that's really the key to making America great again. Right.
Well, and there was a whole lot of that back then, right? The man telling you what to do. All right. So a few games ago, the Coyotes, the Utah Hockey Club, snapped the Blues 2-game win streak and won 4-2 versus the Blues last Thursday night. Kyrou scored for the third straight game in this game. Holloway played only 2 days after being stretchered off in Tampa against Tampa. Hofer made 27 saves and 30 shots. Connor Ingram stopped 13 of 15. The Blues were 0 for 3 on the power play. Utah was 0 for 2. I hate the Utah Coyotes / hockey club. I hate that when we play them, we look like crap. We look like ass against Utah or Arizona. We always, ever since COVID.
Right.
That 7-game series that was so frustrating. And we didn't play well in that series. And I think we lost it 4-3 or something. And it was a very frustrating series to play. And ever since then, they've had our number. We rarely beat them. And they look like world beaters when we play them. When they're not a good team, not really a very good team. They're never a great team, but they always look great against us. And it pisses me off. And I never really cared when we played Arizona. I was like, it's one of those games. I just like Columbus. I don't get up for those games. Even with Arizona in the division, I just don't get up for them. They don't excite me. They don't do it for me. And now that they beat us all the time, the fact that they beat us all the time and I hate them and I still don't get up for the game, I don't think it says a lot about me. I think it says a lot about whatever it is about Arizona, Utah. I don't know. They're not an exciting, even though they have, a couple of nice players that always tear us up. But I don't know. Am I alone? Do you get up for those games against Utah and Arizona?
No, I expect bad performances by the Blues and overachieving by Arizona, right? Or Utah. What I still can't get used to is like some of the feeds you'll just get hockey club. On the scroll bar at the bottom.
Yep.
We're reporting the score.
Hockey club or the hockey.
Yeah.
If they want to shorten it.
Yeah,
Should be
the
THC.
hockey.
It's just THC, right?
Yeah,
It's the Utah THC.
Yeah.
Why not just go with that? Oh wait, they can't. Probably.
Right. Not in Utah. You can. That's for damn sure. Yeah. No, I mean they had a good start to the season, and now they are middle of the pack, and Colorado's starting to heat up. So, yeah, we're going to be right there neck and neck with them, but lose every time we play them.
It's the most frustrating thing, and it's probably because the games are just never enjoyable for me. I just don't like them. And I still don't feel like they're in the division, even though they are. They don't feel like they are.
Yeah, Clayton Keller's going to get 3 points against us, and and then eventually we're going to bring him here, and he's going to suck. It's how life's going to go.
You know what? We're not going to bring him here. It's like the Kachuk brothers. It's like we would love to have either one of them here. I know when Brady was like wanting out of Calgary, not Brady, Matthew was wanting out of Calgary. And there was a lot of talk in St. Louis about, hopefully the Blues are interested, and the fans were clamoring and, offer the farm. Remember how people didn't want to give up Kyrou to get him?
Mm-hmm. That's overpayment, man.
Oh my God. I mean, here, and I think I said at the time, I was like, Kyrou has a high ceiling. It was a good prospect, a really good prospect at the time, but you're trading an unknown for a known, a known impact player, one of the best players in NHL.
Yeah.
So, I mean, granted, who knows, even if Armstrong was seriously interested, who knows if could have even got him, but,
right. I mean,
I don't think St. Louis was, I think St. Louis was on his list of teams he would go to, but it wasn't his first pick. So.
Yeah. And I mean, who's going to give up the chance to go live in Miami at age 24?
True. No, I mean, sure, the weather and you can't beat it, right? So, except for hurricane season.
Yeah.
So, or the summers. The summers apparently suck down there.
Yeah. But
humid.
You're a hockey player in the off season, so probably spends summers here, and who knows where else.
Yeah,
he's got a lot of money now, so he can do wherever he wants. But winters in Miami, pretty good scene.
Light Sound Geometry says Keller is a stud. He is a stud. The pride of Swansea, Illinois.
Yeah,
not from St. Louis.
No, Swansea,
Illinois. People,
he's ours.
Don't let anybody tell you he's from Clayton or wherever they said he was from.
Chesterfield.
He's not. Chesterfield. That's what Chesterfield.
Yeah.
Clayton is his first name.
Right. He played in the Chesterfield organization, but he's an Illinois boy.
He's born and raised Illinois.
Yes. Right. St. Clair County, baby.
Mm-hmm. Swansea, Illinois. About 15 minutes north of where I grew up. All right. So, and then the next game, the Blues got, and I'll use Ponder's word here, shit stomped.
Yes.
The Capitals.
Yes. That very apropos.
8-1 on Saturday night. This is the second time in 6 games the Blues have allowed 8 goals in a game. Perunovic did score his first career NHL goal, so he's got this game linked to that goal for him. Ovechkin had 2 goals. Of course, he did against us. He has 8 goals in his last 7 games, 10 on the season. Dude's not slowing down a whole lot. So, I mean, you barring a career-ending injury, he is going to get the record, Gretzky's goal record. He's going to get 900 goals. So that's what he's going for. So
last year it was doubtful. Washington did not have a great start to the season, but he looks vintage right now.
Yeah, I mean, and he was throwing hits still. Old man's out there just destroying people still once in a while.
He was it Kyrou that he lit up?
It might have been.
Yeah,
it might have been Kyrou. Yeah. It's not a hard guy to light up, but still.
Right.
Yeah, he's like pushing 40. Kyrou's almost half his age. And he has 863 goals in his career, 31 shy of Gretzky at the time. Binnington stopped 19 of 27.
God.
Logan Thompson stopped 24-25. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he has not lost to the Blues. Oh, in overtime. He's never lost in regulation to the Blues. 5-1.
Yeah. One overtime loss in Vegas, I believe it was.
Yeah. So this game, I think, this game was a competitive game going into the third. It's 3-1. Rough to watch the third period. I've never seen a team like, I agree with Rutherford here, Jimmy Rutherford, the Blues beat writer, that in his 20 years covering the Blues, he's never seen a worse period by the Blues ever. And I said, you know what? I agree. I don't, as far as like effort and just the way the goals were going in, just because the Blues gave up. They were, the last few goals they had given up, and you could even Bennington, and they didn't care. They were giving like 70% effort out there. It was not pretty. It was ugly. Yeah.
It was. I do want to call out that two players that I thought were particularly bad in this game, and P.O. Joseph, like, look at the hockey stat card, just worst player in the game, but he was put out there in rough spots. He was out there against Ovechkin a lot, right? Parayko, Suter, also out there against Ovechkin a lot. Connor McMichael had 2 goals that the first one went off of Suter. Not good. But the guy that I really thought had a terrible third period and probably, hopefully, would be his last with the Blues, Kasperi Kapanen. He was terrible. I forget which goal it was, but he just, everything he did on the play, it was a 2-on-1 back the other way, and everything he did was wrong. And puck wound up in the net. I think it was the fourth goal. Just terrible to see him play in that game.
Well, I don't even see Kapanen on this list.
Yeah,
in this game. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Wrong.
You had the Bruins game.
Wrong game.
Because he didn't play.
No, I had the Utah game up still. So yeah. No, you're right. Yeah. So there he is.
Yeah. So yeah. Let me pull that one back up myself. Just I thought he was terrible. But yeah, the Blues did give up. It's the kind of game that you expect that your starter's going to get yanked and they're going to put somebody else in there. But yeah,
didn't happen. So there was a. And I'll bring it up now. I said we're going to talk about it later, but one of the comments from the callers today on radio on ESPN 101 radio was Bennington is going to pull a Patrick Waugh and demand the trade after a blowout. And the callers, the caller's heart was in the right place, I guess, but he's getting all kinds of details wrong.
And credit for a callback to 1995 and Patrick Waugh. And I'm betting he actually called him Patrick Waugh and not Patrick Roy. So credit. Props there.
Yeah. But Waugh was in a game that how many did he allow? 10? 8? It was a lot.
Yeah.
And he finally got pulled way too late. And immediately said to the owner, who was sitting right behind the bench, trade me right fucking now. Right. So never played another game for Montreal. Was traded, I think, a few days later to Colorado.
Yeah. And during that time frame, they came here to St. Louis and I had tickets and I was so excited and I got to see Patrick Blonsky play.
What a drop off.
Oh my God.
You should ask for a refund. You talk about Patrick Waugh versus Pat Jablonski. Man. Yeah. The only thing those guys had in common was the first name.
Yeah.
That is terrible. That's a stark contrast in goaltending.
Yeah. Yeah. That's actually the When Goaltenders Were Weird podcast. If anybody wants another pod recommendation, listen to the Patrick Waugh episode of that. There's some great stories on there. But Patrick Waugh and who was the coach? I'm blanking on it. Anyway, go listen to that. Talks about how they were roommates when they played, when the guy was still playing, and was it Mario Tremblay? I think that's who it was. And they were roommates when Wah first came up, and he couldn't take it after that game, and told Ronald Corey, trade me right fucking now. Hang up.
Trade me right fucking now. So anyway, Bennington was not pulled in this game, so he couldn't have had the exact moment that Wah had, where he skates to the bench and says to the owner, "Trade me right fucking now."
Right.
Although if I were Bennington and I wanted to be traded after a blowout win, I would so say, "Trade me right fucking now."
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly what I would say. Just to reference, the history. Everyone knows that story. I'm sure every goalie knows that story.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't going to happen because, Bennington didn't do what Patrick Watt did when he made a save late in the third period and threw his hands up in the air.
Right.
So
they gave him the old sarcastic cheer.
Yeah. I think it was one of those that it was like, he just accepted it and was going to take the bullet for the team. And, what he showed, what he's shown this season as far as leadership, every once in a while you got to take one of these bad ones and, not show people up on your team. And
God forbid he step in between two players, with his arm.
Right.
It's the worst thing in the world to actually help out a teammate by just putting your arm between two players to separate them. Oh my God, he's such a dick.
Yeah, because he threw a water bottle a couple of years ago, he's forever labeled.
Which, I'm sorry. I love that story. I love the fact he did that. And you got people defending what's his face too, with the who he threw it at.
Kadri.
Yeah, Nazem Kadri. So one of the biggest dicks in the league. So people are like, whatever. But in this game, with the score still tied at 1, I believe, in the second period, we do have Bill's save of the week. Correct?
Correct. So I absolutely could not, talk shit about Jordan Bennington. So this is the save of the week, and are we ready to go?
I got it. Do we have the video? Oh, wait. Do we have the video up here?
I'm sharing, and I'm starting.
There we go.
All right. Look at that. Look at that.
Oh, wait. Sorry, my bad. There we go. There we go.
Yeah. Okay.
Got it.
Okay.
Get it.
All right. So there's the full screen here. And look at that thing of beauty. So every goalie's nightmare, go to the corner to play the puck. Can't go into the corner. It hits the stanchion and jumps out. And Taylor Radish, empty net. And Benair gets over. And as you see here, keeps the tip of the blade up in the air. I was coming in prepared to shit talk Jamie Rivers for his analysis on this, but I went back and watched it, and he actually got it right. I thought he was saying Benner was able to hold his stick up off the ice, but no, he pointed the blade up, and Rivers got that right. There's no human, well, no goalie, I think maybe Ray Emery was strong enough to do it, who could have held his stick off the ice to keep it from going. But overall, I think this is just a great read by Bennington. He made the adjustment and pushed quick. They said he got up to 13 miles per hour, which I think that's super fast for a goalie here.
That is fast.
And he gets out there, extends it, but has the presence of mind to keep the blade up, and Radish hits it. Right. Benner knows he's going to try to one-time it because he's got Pierre Olivier Joseph coming back, forcing the pressure, and got the stick on it. Beauty save at the time. This is 23 seconds into the second period. The game is tied. The Blues still had an opportunity to do something in this game, but we know what didn't happen.
They wasted this save. That's what they did.
Yes, they did. So, like, thank God he did that, because otherwise, I don't think I could have found a save of the week this week. Because, holy crap!
What?
I will say that I thought Joel Hofer, the 2 of the goals that he gave up in the Arizona game were terrible, and Bennington just stopped trying after the 4th goal in this game. So,
what if this save didn't happen? I probably would have recommended the Bennington save against Boston after it was tied at 2, I believe, where he throws his arm up for a save through traffic. Never saw it, didn't see the puck, and it hits his arm. A great arm save, fantastic. I mean, just being big in the net, right, and taking away a sure goal. So anyway,
and playing instinct, right, anticipating where the puck's going to go when you can't see it, and hopefully it doesn't deflect. And that play worked out pretty well.
Ken Morris says super save by Benner. Yeah, that was and I'm glad that it was a tied game at the time, because you could celebrate the save and go, oh my God. If it were like 5-6-1 and it makes a save, you're like, I mean, it doesn't matter. Right.
So, why are you even trying now?
Right. So at the time, it was great. Just put it in perspective. And then last night against the Bruins, the Blues had a 2-0 lead that they lost in the third period. Another back-to-back games with terrible third periods. And they lost this game 3-2. It was Bennington versus Swayman in this game. First period, I thought, giving up early goals in games this season has been an issue for the Blues. And they gave up an early 2-on-1 in this game, got lucky when the pass across was high and they couldn't convert. And I thought we were about to see another early goal again. So it was like a minute and a half into the game. They gave up that odd-man rush. And then also in the first period, there were no goals in the first period, but a few things to note. P.O. Joseph's high-sticking penalty on Pasternak. Was it? I mean, they showed the replay, and they're like, it looked like it missed his visor completely. If it did, man, it just barely ticked it. And they called it. And, of course, Pasternak throws his head back like it was just punched by Tyson. So Blues kill off the power play. No harm, no foul, whatever. Pissed the time, but they killed it off, so that's fine. I thought Nathan Walker, was stirring it up again in this game, fairly early in the game. I'm like, every game, this guy is just doing something noticeable and good on the ice, whether it's getting plugged back in after a couple games off and scoring a goal, or he's been correct. I don't remember him roughing it up with players, and he's doing it every game. Every game he's like roughing up with somebody. And he did it in this game in the first period. He was a shit disturber.
Yeah.
I mean,
he's got the pest roll down, and other teams just bite into it, right?
Yeah.
It's got to be the accent, right?
Is there a slur for an Aussie that the players are probably using on the ice when he's on there? I'm not aware of any Aussie slurs.
Yeah, they might tell him he's from New Zealand, because they hate that.
They hate they're called Kiwis, right? Is that a slur?
New Zealanders are called Kiwis.
Like legit. That's not a slur. Yeah. That's not like okay. Like
a
frog for a Frenchman, or whatever racist term you want to.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm taking that from one of the last episodes of Letterkenny, where they brought people in from Australia and New Zealand, and they hated each other. But at the end of the episode, they were drinking at the bar.
It's so weird. They hate each other. It's kind of like, Thailand and South Korea, or a lot of the Asian countries, they hate each other. I don't know why. I guess, I'm not Asian, so I don't know.
Yeah. Regional differences.
I guess. So Kyrou had a breakaway in the first period, unable to score on Swayman. Puck looked to go on edge as he was shooting. Anyway, no goals in the first period for the team. Kind of a sloppy first period for the Blues, I thought. Miscommunication on passes, fumbling the puck. Not a clean period by any means for either team, really.
Right. Both teams were terrible in the neutral zone. Like, there's so many turnovers, blind passes, and nobody could connect. It was a terrible first period overall.
And Boston comes into this game almost identical to the Blues this season in terms of record, goals for, goals against, everything. So they're not playing great hockey either. So a sloppy, first period for both teams is, I guess, not overly surprising. Blues didn't really get inside for any good chances in the offensive zone. 0 penetration. Kyrie's breaker was about it. Blues draw shot 9-6 in the first. And my notes after the first period going into the second, they need a better second period. Simple and straightforward. It's like, just be better. Play better hockey.
Shoot.
Well, just go to the net, drive to the net, get something going, get inside. They got nothing. They had nothing going inside. No in-tight chances at all, except for the breakaway. That's all they had.
Right. And Bennington was really strong. Like, he was really good in the first period.
Yes. Hampus Lindholm left the game with an injury, did not return to the game, which is a big loss for Boston in this game. Second period, finally, a home power play goal for the Blues. Buchnevich, very patient on the far bottom of the circle, far side. Stick handle, looking for, you can tell he's looking for Kyrou. Mm-hmm. And Kyrou's kind of shifting back and forth 2-3 feet this way, 2-3 feet that way. And he's trying to find a lane, finally gives him a pass, finds him. Doesn't have a ton of room, Kyrou does, but he had just enough space to get a quick shot off. Swayman made the save, couldn't find the rebound, thought he had it, didn't. But didn't. And then it trickles into the crease and Shen taps into the wide open net. Stick side post. And Braden Shen's first goal in 14 games and St. Louis's first power play goal at home ice this season, ending an 0-for-21 drought. The Blues had serious power play issues last season early on, and was one of the reasons why Berube was fired when he was. I believe it was single digits at the time he was fired, like 8-9%, something like that. It was terrible. And right now the Blues power play is ranked after the 2 goals last night, 27th overall, 15%. So I don't know what it was before that last night, but it was worse.
Right. And Bannister is not going to get run out of town because of power play until Robert Thomas is back and healthy and has had a couple games. When you're running Braden Shen and Oscar Sundqvist out on your power play and on your top power play, something's bad about your team. And it's not a recipe for success most nights. Last night, it just happened to pay off because Boston's not having a great penalty kill season.
Although Sundqvist did play a nice role in the Blues' second power play goal because he did win that off his own faceoff.
Scored it.
And scored it. And here's what I put in my notes after that first goal. It wouldn't surprise me if the Blues get another power play goal this game. That's kind of the way things work sometimes after a long drought in sports. Like if you lose like 6, 7, 8 in a row, you'll see teams win like 3, 4, 5 in a row. It's just kind of a weird thing that happens sometimes. And of course, a couple minutes later, the Blues go right back on the power play. Sundqvist scores on the Blues' second power play of the game, second power play goal of the game, and of the season at home. On this goal, Sundqvist did win the faceoff in the offensive zone. Won the power play, won the puck back to the point. Puck is worked down low to Sundqvist. Tries to force a pass to Saad in the slot, who was covered, and a shot squirts way wide, but right under the stick of Holloway, who was breaking to the net. He slides a backhand pass across the top of the crease, right through Brandon Carlo, who I thought played this pass poorly. He didn't. He had a stick down, just missed it. And then right to Sundqvist. Easy tap in, backdoor goal. 2-0. 3 minutes after Shen's goal, about less than 3 minutes after Shen's goal, thinking 2-0, 2 power play goals, halfway through the game. We're in good shape.
Yeah, but can I ask, did part of you think that Sonny was going to miss that shot?
He almost did. He put it far post.
Yeah, I was like, I had to double check to make sure it actually went in. Yeah, that's it's not the best way to go about scoring that goal, but hey. We're not going to complain. Beggars can't be choosers.
They don't ask how. They ask how many.
Yeah.
So and then after that, for the second time in this game, the Bruins really embellished a high-ish stick by the Blues and drew a penalty. Terrible call. Worse than the first. I can't remember who it was. Didn't contact the head at all, and the player throws his head back. It may have hit him in the shoulder. Blues killed it off though, so again, no harm, no foul, but still officiating and the Bruins just embellishing high sticks was bad in this game. Going into the second intermission, Blues were 2 for 3 on the power play so far in this game. Bruins 0 for 4. Boston had outshot the Blues, though 10-8 in that period. It was a better period by the Blues. Still not great. I mean, they were up 2-0, but it was the power play. But other than that, they weren't playing great hockey. Neither was Boston. And similar to the first in a lot of ways, but not a great hockey game through 2 periods. I think this is kind of a boring game, to be honest.
Yeah,
not a lot of chances in tight, not a lot of great opportunities. There were a couple breakaways, but other than that, and the 2-on-1 early that Boston had. Neighbors, I will give the Blues credit. They didn't give Boston anything in tight, scoring wise. Binnington was, they had 10 shots on goal, Boston did, but they didn't have a lot of good chances, high danger chances at all, like any. Neighbors did have a breakaway in the second period, but could not score.
Yeah, if he puts that in, that's an entirely different story, right? That 3-goal lead is better than the worst lead in hockey.
Well,
if he cliches.
Yeah, if he scores that, it's different. If Walker, early in the third period, Walker hit the post on a 2-1 break.
So much patience on that play by Walker.
Oh my God. And it was a great, he placed it great, and it clanged solid off the post. It didn't just nick the post. It hit solid, came right straight back out. So that hurt because then I think 2 minutes later, the Bruins got on the board. Geeky, who objectively has the worst name in the NHL.
Whose brother plays for Utah.
There's 2 of these. There's 2 of them.
There's 2 geekies.
He scored a 1-timer on a 2-on-1. Tough goal to give up right after Walker hits the post.
Yeah, and it's a thing that it hit off of Falk's stick and went right to him. Like if Falk doesn't make contact with that, he doesn't have his cleanest shot.
It was Texier.
Texier?
Texier was back checking on the middle. Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. But either way,
if it doesn't make contact with that stick,
it's different. Yeah.
It's a different outcome.
Yeah. He doesn't have quite as much time to get that shot off. It's not going to go in the same spot for sure. Right. And it had to go in that spot because it just snuck in between the pad and the post as Benson slid over. But what I'm kind of annoyed about, what even started this whole thing in the first place, was Parayko kind of screwed the pooch at the Bruins blue line. He had a chance, and they didn't. I don't think they talked about this at all on the broadcast. He had a chance to dump the puck in deep. He didn't get it deep, and it was gloved down just inside the Boston blue line. He flipped it up and he kind of fanned on it, and then they kind of flipped it back out. Parayko gloves it down, then puts it down, tries to make a move instead of dumping it back in again. Tries to make a move, and it's instantly stolen from him. And they're darting back the other way, almost an instant 2-on-1. With the Texier trying to backcheck to try and get in the way of the passing lane. And so Parayko had 2 chances to get the puck in deep, flubbed on the first one, and then tried to make a move on the second one and had it stolen from him. And then they're darting back the other way on the 2-on-1. That is what started that whole thing. And then the unfortunate break with Texier, making contact with the puck on the pass and not getting enough of it and slowing it. He helped him out inadvertently. And then Binnington did a good job to get over. Man, that puck just in that little spot as he slides over, just between the pad and the post.
Yeah, it was perfectly placed shot. He doesn't get that shot off as cleanly if it doesn't hit Texier's stick. And yeah, looking at the hockey stat card, Colin Parayko. Oh,
yeah,
worst player on the ice by far.
Yeah, he had a negative 4.66 game score, which is the lowest. Ryan Suter, his partner, was negative 4.54, just above him.
Right.
So.
And folks, the fact that Ryan Suter, he's outperformed my expectations this year, but the fact that he's playing on the top pair at this point in the season pretty much tells you everything you need to know about where the Blues are, right?
I said before the season started, I said if he's playing every night, it's going to be a problem. And to his credit, he's played much better than I thought he was going to play. Yeah, but you got to wonder how long it's going to last, right? I mean, right.
And it's starting to the shine's starting to come off, right?
Yeah, maybe.
But he showed to this point he's got something left in the tank, but other teams are taking advantage of the Blues' supposedly top pair.
And it wasn't just, advanced stats wise, Ryan Suter didn't play a good game visually. I mean, he fell down twice in key situations and led to Boston scoring chances. Just a handful of times I picked out, that was a bad play by Suter. Oh, he fucked up. Not a good game for Suter. So, but and then Geekie, after they scored to make it within one for Boston, Geekie had another great chance a couple minutes later, backdoor. But Falk, that's the one that Falk got across. I think you're probably thinking of to disrupt that chance. So, and then with 9:15 into the third period, McAvoy scores after his zone entry where the Blues just couldn't get a handle on multiple loose pucks. It was pinballing around.
Terrible turnover by Texier on that play too.
Yeah,
right? He had a chance to get the puck out and didn't. And I've liked his game, but this is not a good game for him.
Eventually, McAvoy gets the puck at the point and fires a bullet through a screen that went over Bennington's glove. Didn't seem to ever see it. Joseph screened him. And it was weird, the reaction from Joseph to Bennington. I think he was apologizing, but he turned around and put his hands up like it almost looked at first like he was,
make that save?
Yeah, like, what's wrong? Why was I in your way? What?
How come you didn't make that save?
Joseph had to have screened him because Ben didn't react really with the glove, and Joseph was the only guy in the shooting lane, so he must have had it blocked pretty well.
Yeah, no, it was a perfectly placed shot by McAvoy. Scores big goals against the Blues all the time. Had the overtime winner last year. Heard that ad nauseum. But yeah, it was a great shot. Benner never saw it. You can absolutely tell by his non-reaction. He was trying to get big, and it just perfectly placed in the upper corner.
Bennington did make a great arm save on Zacha. Never saw the shot, which I referenced earlier, but he knew it was coming. He knew the shot was coming. I don't think he saw it. Kind of threw his arm out, and it hits below his cuff on his forearm. So extremely lucky save. Just playing big in the net, I guess. And lucky at the time that the Bruins didn't go up 3-2 right there. So, but after the Bruins tied this game, I mean, everybody in the world saw it. That's all they were talking about on the radio today. And at the time, I was like, as the game's going on, 10 minutes left, 9 left, 8, 7, 6, 5. I'm like, what are you guys doing? You're not even trying to gain the offensive zone at all. You're not trying to establish any kind of zone time. You're getting to center, you're dumping it in, you're sending one guy and the rest chain. What are you doing? They weren't putting pucks on net. They weren't trying to do anything. And they were just playing for the tie. They were playing for the point to get to overtime or something, playing not to lose. I don't know. But I thought that, I'm like, and then Boston wanted it. You could tell they were coming in waves. Mm-hmm. I'm surprised they only had, I think it was 10 shots on goal in the third period. It seemed like they had 15 or 20 because they were just, and Bennington was trying to keep the Blues tied, right? He was trying to keep them in it, made some nice saves. But, and then of course, Boston scores with a lot of pressure, wave after wave, with a minute and 47 left in the game, I think.
Yep. Yeah. So, and it's just like when you're playing Washington, that one-timer's going over there, right? It's Washington, it's Ovi. Boston, it's Pasternak, and the one timer's going to go there. They set it up multiple times, and
he had just they tried it maybe 10, 12 seconds before he scored, and he hit. I think he healed it.
Yeah,
and it went behind the net. He misfired on it.
And the Blues had an opportunity to get it out and couldn't get possession, couldn't get it cleared. And
yeah, that was rough because it was pinballing around, and Joseph, I think it was Joseph, he came very close. He was in the high slot, and the puck squirts by him, and he tries to react to block it and couldn't react in time, and then he goes to dive out to the point to block the pass to Pasternak, and all out effort. You can criticize Joseph for his play recently, but on this particular play, man, he's busting his ass. And you can rip the Blues in this game for in the last 10 minutes, last period, whatever, just mailing it in and not given the full effort, the full 200-foot effort in this game, in this period. But Joseph on this play, he's doing everything he can to try and get a piece of that puck at some point, and he just misses it twice. Yeah. And then it gets over to Pasternak, and he scores as it slides across, who thought he had it at first, and then trickles in far side. Oh.
Yeah. And when things are going the way they are for Benner, that puck goes in, right? He had such a strong game. Hated to see that puck go in on him, off in between. That's what the 8-hole. I forget the shooter too.
It's 8-hole.
It's and yeah.
It's just no. I agree with you, and I think I don't think when you watch the replay and you slow down a little bit, he doesn't see the pass over to Pasternak right away.
No.
He doesn't see it. And because he doesn't, and he slides over towards Pasternak late, and you can tell that he doesn't pick up the puck until after it's on his way to him. So, but he does pick it up, but it's maybe just a fraction late, right? And that's how it squeaks under his arm. It's just a millimeter, difference as far as his reaction time. And that was the difference in this game.
Right.
So,
and that's, Pasternak's an elite scorer in this league, right? And it's a difference maker. And right now, with Thomas out of the lineup, the Blues don't really have a true difference maker in a game.
Right. Broberg too. Broberg and Thomas, both difference makers. And I think I see a lot of charts, and they showed one on TV last night. I think it was last night. If it wasn't, it was 2 games ago, where the Blues goals for with Thomas and goals for without Thomas, the stark contrast, and other things with and without Thomas, and how it's basically the Blues are much better with Thomas lineup than without. And I'm like, hold on. I mean, yes, Thomas is a key loss, but Broberg was out about the same time as Thomas. So a lot of these numbers are without Thomas and Broberg. Broberg was a key cog in the offense too. He was scoring a point a game. Yeah. And scoring, and he had a few goals. I mean, so he was very involved in the Blues defensive play and offensive play. So along with Thomas, that combination of players is a big reason why the stark contrast of goals for, goals against, power play, all that stuff. A couple weeks ago versus now.
Yeah, I mean, the Blues. We didn't think the Blues were a super deep team, and the key injuries that they've had have really been to the exact wrong person from a Blues fan perspective.
Right.
And, it pains me to say that we need Nick Leddy back in this lineup to stem some of these excess minutes that P.O. Joseph's getting.
Yeah, and maybe Suter too. Give him some games off.
Both of those guys. Well, and it's not even giving them games off. Just reduce their minutes by 5 to 10 minutes a game, right? Yeah. And if that's one thing Leddy was good at, was eating minutes. So, I mean, look, I'm not. I really have been surprised by P.O. Joseph and his play this year, but he's not an experienced NHLer, and Ryan Suter is at the tail end of his career, and he probably used up a lot of what he had in the tank. we need to take that away, and we made a call today, right? One of the Swedes,
Loof.
Yeah, Loof.
Yeah.
So
which I don't have in my notes, which I should have had this in the notes. Yeah, the Blues did call up Loof. He's whether he'll play or not, I don't know. Hopefully, I mean, why call him up if he's not going to play?
Right.
But physical defenseman, no real offensive skills whatsoever. But he's a physical guy, takes a lot of penalties. So talented guy, but we'll see.
So we're calling up the Swedish Tyler Tucker.
Oh man. Yeah, I have no problem with stay-at-home defensemen as long as they're effective, right? If they're good stay-at-home defensemen, even those really solid stay-at-home D-man they're not as common as they used to be. There's so much of a demand now to get involved in the offense for defensemen.
Yeah.
So with maybe 5 or 6 minutes to go in this game, I wanted to bring up something that happens. Perunovic kind of roughed up Marchand in the corner. Did you notice this?
I did not.
He rubbed him out in the corner, like gave him an extra shove. I think it was in the corner, and really gave him an extra shove. And you can tell Marchand wasn't happy about it. But then later, when the Blues pulled Binnington for the extra attacker, less than a minute, and this play happened less than a minute ago. So, do you recall when Perunovic went to dump the puck into the zone, and he threw it out of play?
Yes.
And this was like 40-some seconds to go.
Yeah.
And then
absolute terrible dumping.
Terrible dumping. I don't know how you do that, but it was bad dumping. And then what's the first thing that happens? Marchand, beeline for Perunovic, gets in his face, gives him the business, trash talking for lifting the puck out of a key part in the game, taking the face off out of the zone and bringing it outside. And that was in response to what Perunovic did to him about 5 minutes earlier. So that was interesting.
Yeah. Okay. And we forgot to mention in the Washington game, Scott Perunovic's first NHL goal.
I did mention that, I think.
Did you?
Yeah, because I said that he's forever linked to that game now with his.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I was paying attention. I really was.
I appreciate though you want to cover all the bases.
Right. No, that's God. It's been so long coming. Like I had such high expectations for him.
Well, and you know what? I don't have a problem with him not scoring goals, but as long as he's putting up points, because that's really why he's in the NHL. He needs to be a quarterback for the power play. He needs to be a puck distributor and racking up assists. That's what he needs to do. That's the guy he needs to be.
And I still love the way he looks on the power play. And
me too.
Just keeps things fluid, which the Blues were so good earlier in the year when they were fluid with the puck on the power play. And they just they keep everything on the perimeter now. Or Buchnevich tries to force things, and every once in a while it works out. But
tries to force things and doesn't shoot when he should.
Yeah.
Kind of like Kyrou. It's just, not shooting enough. And I don't want to be one of those fans. I hate those shoot. But sometimes you need to shoot it. You need to force the issue. Shoot it if there's some people in the way. Pucks go off people in all the time. The shooting lane wasn't open. Maybe it goes off a shin and in. That should have you need to, especially when you get outshot 9 in and 9 out, you need to funnel more pucks to the net, period. It's just, you just got to shoot more sometimes. So the Blues lost this one 3-2, frustrating loss. Hurt worse for me personally than the 8-1 beatdown. The 8-1 beatdown was almost comical at the end. Mm-hmm. This one was frustrating. Because you had the win and then you just laid a complete egg in the third period and allowed that late goal and just lost. It was just Boston outshot the Blues 11-8 in the third. It seemed like 20-1, to be honest. Blues were 2 for 3 on the power play. Boston was 0 for 4. Boston won the faceoff battle 54.2% to 45.8%. And Boston was right for the picking. Like we touched on earlier, they haven't been playing great this season. Swayman still looks to be getting his legs back after sitting out and the training camp and everything. So, yeah, and they're not playing great. And this is a game the Blues should have won. And it's just like, it's always great to beat Boston because you know that they take great pleasure in beating the Blues after 2019. That shit doesn't go away. But Shen looked like a beaten man in the post-game locker room for his comments. Basically saying they stopped getting pucks to the net and the effort wasn't there. And it's just like, dude, figure it out. I mean, you're the captain.
Right. Braden Shen as a captain doesn't have a great feel right now.
No, I don't think he has a lot of answers, or he's frustrated. And it just came through in the comments, which I'm okay with, as long as, whatever happens behind the scenes and then practice and stuff, a message is trying to be made with him to some degree. Because he's not the kind of player anymore that's going to lead by example on the ice as far as like taking over a game and putting up points. It's like, fine, if you guys won't do it, I'll fucking do it. And he's just not that player anymore. Now he's the guy that go out there and work hard and bang a little bit, but he's not going to go out there and score a couple of goals and put the team on his back in the third period. He just doesn't do that. So he's got to, as a captain, his role needs to be, at least to some degree, inspiring other players to do that. And I don't know if that's
how do you the two guys that he needs to inspire the most are Kyrou and Buchnevich, right? They are the two talented guys in the offensive core of this team that need to score for this team. And right now they're not producing, especially on the power play on home ice, right? Like I said earlier, if your goals are coming from Oscar Sundqvist and Braden Shen on the power play as your top power play unit at that point, that's a bad sign.
Yeah. You're going to have those games where you role players need to step up and you need, supplemental goal scoring. But in the other games, you then have your top players, fill in the net. And I think the Blues are missing that. I do think the Blues get decent supplemental scoring and effort from the third and fourth lines. I think that I wouldn't say the third and fourth line is a problem. I would say it's the top six that just aren't getting it done offensively for the Blues enough.
Right. And that's with Robert Thomas out, the top six really becomes a top two. Right. Yeah. And
right. And that's fair point. Cause when you're missing your best offensive producer, and as well as your best defensive player this season before you got hurt, you're going to suffer. Unless guys really step up, and we talked about that. Who's going to step up? And offensively, it's just hard to replace what Thomas does. You can't do it, so you got to have like a replacement by committee. Just guys working their ass off to replace because you got to work hard to replace. You got to work twice as hard to replace skill that leaves the lineup. Yeah. And when you see efforts against Washington when they gave up, when you see this effort in the third period when the Blues just don't try to gain zone time in the offensive zone, that you're losing effort there. And if you don't have the effort to replace the loss of skill, then you're in trouble because what's going to win you games?
Yeah,
your goaltending going to steal a game for you every once in a while. But
not right now. Bennington he needed a bounce back game and he had it, but the team didn't give him anything in the third to give him a chance to win that game.
Yep.
And that's I was disappointed about that. And I'll bring up Brian Roberts' comment here. You think if we're struggling, they bring up Dvorsky for a couple of games and let him play to see if it ignites the offense. Why not? Right? This offense is mired, right? It's Kyrou and Buchnevich are trying, but they're at the point that they're forcing it. And right now, it's just not clicking for the other guys. Jake Neighbors is not hot. Brandon Saad's not doing anything.
Right.
Dylan Holloway, I thank God he's even in the lineup after
right.
taking that puck, right? So,
you know what? I'm all for just a few games just to see what happens.
Yeah.
Right. Bring him up, play him a few games. If he plays well, give him some more games. If he looks like he's not ready, then send him back down. I mean, I don't, he's not going to, you're not going to play him enough games necessarily to start his contract with the Blues. Was it 8 games, 9 games?
Yeah.
So you probably wouldn't do that unless he's playing really well. If he's playing really well, maybe you do start the contract. But yeah, and play Dvorsky more. I'd love to. I'm not Dvorsky. Oh shoot! Why am I drawing a blank on the player's name? Bolduc. Bolduc. Jeez.
Yeah.
Play Bolduc more. He's only playing 11:45. It's one of the fewest minutes amongst forwards.
Right. And he's the one guy that's going to shoot the puck.
Well, he's supposed to. He's only got 13 shots in 13 games. So put him out there, play him more minutes, tell him to shoot, and because he's got a great shot. He needs to be shooting more. Put him out there in situations where he might get more scoring chances. Put him on the power play. Put him out there, I don't know, top line. See how it goes for a while. I don't know. But give him the responsibility to just go out there and shoot. Fire it away. We're told he's a shooter. He loves to shoot. Let him shoot. Put him out there more.
Yeah, it's Doug Armstrong team. Got to have 9 veterans in the lineup every night, and can't have a hot dog out there ever.
All right. So some of the Blues Blues Nation's a little unsettled, a little irritated right now. Even though expectations for this team were not high coming into the season, a lot of people thought, they could probably get in the playoffs. That was the general idea that if they weren't a playoff team, they would just miss. But a lot of people thought they were better than last season, so they should make the playoffs, hopefully. So, but there's a lot of upset fans, about after the 3-game losing streak, losing 8-1 twice in the last 6 games, and then blowing the third period lead against the Bruins. So some of the comments that I wanted to talk about were, one guy said, I have a feeling, and these were callers to the 101 ESPN radio show in St. Louis. I have a feeling Bennington is going to pull the old Patrick Waugh. Oh, I said that already in this show. Use that one already. Bolduc should be playing more, which I agree with. Bannister should be fired.
Yeah, you don't fire the guy that just got the interim tag removed when your 2 best players are out of the lineup. That's not going to happen.
17, 18 games into his career as a Blues head coach.
Right. So Armstrong, there'd be precedence for this because Armstrong fired Davis Payne.
Yeah.
Right. But that was because he was coming in and he wanted to bring in his guy.
Yeah, that's different. I mean, if you had, oh God, let's say Joel Quenneville did not have the history of controversy right surrounding him. Let's say he had just retired but wanted to come back out of retirement, and he wanted to coach for the Blues. Then a similar situation with Hitchcock, right? So you'd be like, but Hitchcock was already working with the Blues. But so you'd be like, okay, well, yeah, we'll fire Bannister and we'll bring on Quenneville. It's an upgrade as far as coaches go. Now, granted, Quenneville would probably want to go to a team that's a cup contender,
right?
But so not really his kind of team right now. But or a team a guy like Quenneville. I don't want to say Quenneville because a lot of people will say, "No, I don't want Quenneville back." That's not what I'm saying.
Right. Now, the guy here is Claude Julien, right? Former Stanley Cup coach. He's here, right? He's breathing down Bannister's neck. If Thomas comes back and they don't win in the first 4 games that Thomas comes back, Bannister's gone. And then we're gonna have to suffer through all of the road to the Winter Classic things where how many times are we going to hear, well, the Blues in 19 were
God.
last place, and that they're similar situations. Just fired their coach.
I think things would have to get pretty bad for this team this season if Bannister were to be fired this season. I don't. It's just
2 8-1 losses in a week.
I know. It's just
week and a half.
It's still just too early in his tenure as a coach to, and with the expectations that this team has. That's the thing too.
Right.
If this team were a cup contender and we had this start, right?
Then the Mike Yo team
yes.
that was underachieving, totally different story.
Perfect example. Yeah. This is not that. So I think it would have to get really bad. We'd have to lose like 10, 11 in a row, and be just like completely out of it, by, December 7th or whatever. It's an odd day to pick randomly.
It was Thanksgiving last year. So.
Yeah, Thanksgiving, and that's generally the date
in 2019.
That's generally what it is too. Is like the teams that are in a playoff position come Thanksgiving. The percentage of them that keep that playoff position come playoffs is very high. It's crazy because it still seems fairly early in the season, but so
if Nashville takes off and starts winning, because who would have thought that Nashville would be at the bottom of the Central at this point in the season?
I think it's comical. I love it.
I
can't. I mean, I would be laughing a whole lot more if the Blues weren't only 2 points ahead of them.
Right.
So there's that. Yeah. And Nashville is also 4-4-2 in the last 10. The Blues are 3-7. So with the expectations that some people have for Nashville, I think that's where the humor comes in.
Yeah.
Okay. Goaltending could be better. I think goaltending can always be better. This is another comment. Next comment, by the way. But I'm not sure why you would even say that at this point for the goaltending. I think goaltending is fine. It's obvious what the issues are on this team as far as it's obvious what the issues are not. And the goaltending is not something that should be even talked about at this point, I don't think.
No, I mean, I think goaltending has regressed a little bit from last year. That goaltending was one of the consistent bright spots. But again, in 2 8-1 losses in a couple of weeks, not a lot of confidence in the goaltending, even though it's the team defense that's really the problem.
Yeah, I mean, seeing the 8-1 loss against Washington was, I mean, I almost want to put an asterisk by it because it's different if you lose 8-1 when you're busting your ass. It's another thing when you lose 8-1, you give up.
They clearly gave up.
There's inherent problems with each scenario, but when you give up, is that really an 8-1 loss? I mean, that's it. Probably 5-1. That's a fair number of what the game could have been if they were trying.
Mm-hmm.
But eight's. I mean, I don't know. It's nitpicking. Whatever. It was a bad loss, but until I see soft goals going in left and right, I'm not going to make a stink about the goaltending. Another comment. People don't hate Kyrou. They hate the contract. I think people get highly critical of players who aren't performing up to the level of their contract. And I think that's Kyrou right now. I think the criticism of Kyrou, most of it is justified. I don't think, obviously there's people that want him traded and say he's terrible. That's obviously absurd. Although I'm not against trading anybody, but I don't think he's an $8 million player. Even though he's almost a point a game guy. He just makes too many mistakes on the ice right now for me. He does put up points. Yes, he does. He also makes a lot of mistakes with the puck. Just carrying it up the ice. Mm-hmm. Turnovers, bad turnovers, and bad spots.
Right, and that's again the effect of Robert Thomas being out of the lineup. Thomas is going to be the guy that's going to carry the puck to the neutral zone. And when Kyrie's out there without the protection of Thomas as the primary puck mover, teams are going to let him get the puck and then key on him, right? That's happened over the last 4 seasons. He's a turnover machine when he doesn't have somebody else to carry the puck and set him up.
Lights Sound Geometry says, let's see. Oh, says Crosby to the Preds is rumored. Wouldn't that be funny? I mean, if the Predators didn't go all in before the season started, actually, hold on. Didn't Dubas say that everyone's available for Pittsburgh except Crosby?
I think so.
That's what he said. So I'm not sure why that would. Where's that rumor coming from? Mr. LSG. Let's see. He also says Buchnevich not worth $8 million. Then he should have been traded. Well, he's not making $8 million right now. He's making, was it 5 something? So next year you can say he's not worth $8 million. Right now he's playing under a $5 million, 5.2 or whatever it is contract. And Kyrou is a second liner, not a first liner.
Kyrou,
yeah. I mean,
Kyrou
maybe.
is by himself is not a first liner. If he's just playing on his own skill, if he's got a setup man, he can be a top line sniper, but he can't get it there himself.
He can be a top line sniper if he fully embraces the role of a sniper. I don't think he does that. He carries the puck too much. He holds on to the puck too long in the offensive zone. He passes up good scoring chances to try and make a pass. I want him to have the Brendan Shanahan mindset, the 90s. I want him to just fire everything he can at the net. He's a goal scorer. I mean, he's got 14 points and what does he got? Kyrou has 14 points in 16 games. So, and 9 assists. So, I mean, point wise, he's doing okay. He's doing fine. But I just think he could be putting up more points, which is frustrating. You hear people say you're being critical of him because he's not scoring enough, but he's leading the team in scoring. I'm like, yeah, he should be leading by more.
Yeah,
that's what the team. I mean, do you want Kyrou to be elite or not? I think, yeah, he's leading the team in scoring on a team that is struggling to score. But 14 points in 16 games. 5 goals in 16 games. It's not elite.
No,
I mean, what is it? That's he's on pace for 25 goals. That's not elite. Kyrou needs to be in the 40+ goal category every season.
Yeah,
that's his skill set. That's where he should be. If he's scoring 25 and putting up 70 points, 75 points, that's a solid season for a lot of players, but that's not the ceiling for him. So, criticism. Another comment: criticism of Kyrou is stupid. It stems from fans still being upset over Petro. I don't understand that comment. I understand fans are upset at Petro for leaving, but I don't think one has anything to do with the other. There's no correlation there to me, but weird parallel.
Yeah, I think if we do this bit again, we call it long time caller, first time listener.
Long time caller, first time. I love that. Yeah, good idea. I like it. So yeah, and that's so that wraps up long time caller, first time listener. Next up for the Blues, we got Thursday, November 14th at Buffalo at 6:30. I have lost touch with Buffalo. Where is Buffalo in the standings? They are down near the bottom again.
Yeah, they are frustrating as hell.
7-8. That's not terrible, But,
yeah, they're above my Canadiens, so
they're above the Blues too. I mean, league wide,
right?
Also, to talk about standings, Winnipeg Jets 15-1.
Yeah,
30 points. They're running away with the entire NHL.
Yeah. Yep, and they'll get bounced in the first round. So
they've played 3 fewer games in New Jersey, and they're 6 points ahead of them for first overall. And the Minnesota Wild also playing very well. Only 2 losses in regulation in their 15 games. They have 23 points. They're 7 points behind Winnipeg already. That's
That's pretty crazy.
You got to think Winnipeg's going to come down to earth at some point. I mean, I know they're a great team. They're a very, very, very good team, but they're not going to go 15-1 every 16 games. That's going to be a new record.
Yeah.
They're not that good. They're not quite that good.
I think it was Lazarus that tweeted out the other night. 81-1. Who says no?
Lazarus also on Blue Sky, which was fun to see him over there.
Yes,
I like him.
For a Blackhawks career beat writer, he's a great follow.
Yeah, he's not like what's his name for Russo. Oh,
yeah.
You know what?
Yeah. I skipped over him when I was adding all my new follows.
I did too. I'm like, because Lazarus goes, and Russo's on here too. I'm like, yeah, no thanks.
Yeah.
What Lazarus is everything, and Rutherford too. Same ballpark as far as writers go. Just everything a good beat writer should be, right? They're honest. They tell it like it is. Korak too. Korak's great. Korak's a little more not honest, but was a little more brass in his commentary. Sometimes he'll go after players and team. The team is saying that they're not playing as well. It's terrible, stuff like that. So you got to respect Korak for his honesty. But man, Russo just is a hateful person that goes after everybody, other teams. He's like a toxic fan that's a beat writer.
Yeah.
Boston. So Boston Thursday at 6:30, and then Buffalo Thursday 6:30, and then Boston again Saturday in Boston noon. So I'm sure the Blues, being competitors that they are, I would be in the same way. After you lose to a team in the way the Blues did against Boston, I would want to play them again right away to try and get them back or get a revenge game. This should be a revenge game for the Blues. You should see, if you don't see a great effort against Buffalo, you should see the Blues' best game of the season, or one of the best games of the season, against Boston in Boston. You should. If you see a shitty effort in Boston on Saturday, that's a problem, because then that tells me the players just don't have the heart. Because if you don't want a revenge game against Boston this soon after playing them, what's going on? That's total bulletin board material. Just remember 2 games ago. That was embarrassing. Let's get them back. That's all the motivation you need for an athlete.
So what do you think goaltender wise in the next games? Do you think Hofer tomorrow, Benner Saturday?
Hofer Buffalo, Benner Saturday, yeah. It's got to be, right?
Hofer Sunday against Carolina with that back-to-back.
Oh, yeah, it's back-to-back. Sunday against Carolina. Yeah. Shit.
And then Hofer cannot play against San Jose.
Ooh, yeah, we need to start like a poll. Does Hofer go against San Jose again? Do they shoehorn him against San Jose again? Yeah. Because he can't beat that team.
No, I think... I think Hofer has to go tomorrow night. Can't let him get rusty. I didn't like his game against Utah Hockey Club, but I think he can't go 4 games without him playing. So I think he plays tomorrow. I think you get Benner at noon on Saturday and Hofer again on Sunday, unless Benner has just an incredible game or a really shit game and gets pulled in the second.
Yeah,
against Boston.
You never know what's going to happen, but I think I agree with you. You got to put Binnington against Boston. You have to.
Yeah,
he played well against Boston.
Yeah, and let's not forget, he had another similar save to Game 7, and where the Bruins, I forget who it was, the young guy, don't know his name, cut across the crease and tried to go back to the short side, and Benner made the same save that he made in Game 7. So that had a good vibe. Let's see him do that in Boston again.
I like that scenario, even though Carolina is a much better team than Boston this season so far. And I think if you go Hofer against Boston, you almost got to go Binnington against Buffalo, right? Or maybe you give Hofer the game against Buffalo. If he wins and plays well,
give him Boston
against Boston, and then let Binnington go against Carolina, because that's the much tougher game. Let's be honest. Even though I'd love to see Bennington against Boston, Carolina's gonna be a bitch game.
Yeah, we're in a much different place now than we were when we played Carolina here a couple of weeks ago.
Yep.
No Broberg.
Right. And then on Tuesday the 19th against Minnesota at home, 7 o'clock, and then against San Jose Thursday 21st, 7 o'clock in St. Louis. Get your tickets now. That team is not playing very well. Or a wildly inconsistent Blues team against where's San Jose? Are they still? Oh, they're not. The Ducks have
eclipsed them as the worst team.
Yep. 5 and okay. Well, that's the schedule. So looking forward to that. Anything else? We comments here in the chat. It's funny. Oh, let's so Dan Greiser. It's funny you mentioned the Shanny mentality. He was a tough player with skill and a killer instinct, and yet Shanny has accepted his Leafs team playing like Charmin for years. Yeah, and we made the comment when the Blues played Toronto and beat them for the second time this season already this year. But they're not scary to play against. I mean, they're a team that on paper has a ton of talent. But when you watch them play, they don't scare you. I mean, at least not that I've seen. They're you can tell they have skill and they're talented, but man, they just don't put the fear of God in you when you play them. Not like some teams do in the NHL. That is interesting. And I think that's about it. Unless you got anything, Bill?
No. I think we've said our piece on this.
Did you count to 3?
That's counted to 3, said by piece. God damn it, she counted to 3.
No, we didn't do the it's 10 o'clock or the 11 o'clock. Oh well.
Yeah, no. We didn't have a producer or Ponder to do it. And what? I didn't see the alert on my phone.
we dropped the ball as far as the 10 o'clock alert. Sorry. We'll try and do better next time. That'll wrap up episode 7 of season 14 of the original St. Louis Blues Hockey Podcast. Let's Go Blues Radio. Thanks for listening, and thanks to those who participated in the YouTube and Facebook live chats during the live show. We hope you enjoyed it as much as we've enjoyed bringing it to you. For Jeff Ponder and Bill Day, I'm Kurt Price. Until next time, everyone. Seriously, Blues, let's go.
Come on, boys.
The Chiefs are at home tonight against Cyanosport at the War Memorial at 8. Good seats are still available. A look at 4. I think that went very well.
Thank you for listening to Let's Go Blues Radio. Now take off, hosers.
I want you to have a heart attack and die so that we never have to do this shit again.
Well, there's 90 minutes of your life you'll never get back. Sorry.
St. Louis Blues, St. Louis Blues. Have you heard the news about our St. Louis Blues? They've only just begun, they're on their way to number 1. Now there's no more blues for our St. Louis Blues. The Blues are on the ice tonight again. They're rough and tough and got the stuff to win. They'll always get one more, no matter what the score. They are quite a hockey team, my friend.